Chapter 8. The Black Mage and Her Book. Monday, February 4, 2003. The summer holidays had ended. The Christmas and New Year festivities had already happened about 7 weeks ago, and a new academic year was about to begin. It was third year for Adrian, Gavin, Roger and the other boys from the House of Jade Clovers. Gavin arrived at school early that day, carrying in his backpack the 2 orbs, yellow and purple, that they had gotten the previous year. He went and sat with his companions in the Great Hall to witness the opening ceremony and then go to the hall of the house. In that place, commenting about the vacation, and about where the other remaining orbs could be found, so they did not pay attention to the ceremony about who was being assigned to his house at that moment. Samantha, a tall girl with light skin, long straight black hair, a small nose and brown eyes, was telling the boys leaving the ceremony how scared she was the day before because of the electrical storm that occurred in certain parts of the town. Everything became dark. In the northern part of Green Hills, near the town's power plant, it was raining heavily, lightning fell one after another, the night did not seem like night. The constant flashes of lightning 1 or 2 seconds apart from each other, they illuminated the entire place. All the trees in my home were left without leaves due to the gusts of wind. The berry and cherry bushes were left without fruit. My mother had to collect the cherries with a basket this morning. Maybe she is baking a pie right now with them. Samantha commented sadly. Well, on 6th Street, it was raining, but the lightning was falling very far away, said Gavin. On 4th Street, 24th Avenue, the storm was light. That afternoon I was at Adrian's home reading a book about the prophecy and the orbs, said Roger. Samantha told them that she also knew about the prophecy from her paternal grandfather, that they could count on her to help them. Artifacts and potions, but staying away from duels, since she didn't really like fighting, and she wished them luck with the search for the orbs. I usually read a lot of books from time to time. If I read any information about the orbs, I won't hesitate to tell you. Samantha added. Excellent, we're counting on you, Adrian said. I wanted to ask you a favor. It's almost an hour until enter the room. Would you accompany me to the great saku tree? Samantha asked the boys and then explained what it was. It is an ancient tree. Precisely at this time, its saku flowers are at their best. The flowers are ideal for creating potions for healing remedies for the effects of, I've been in a frenzy. You'll have to give us that recipe, Gavin told him. Come on, Adrian shouted. The trio and Samantha headed through the green forest, but when they looked from the top of the main door of the Great Hall, they saw that the great saku tree was gone. What happened to the great saku tree? Samantha shouted with anguish. They must have cut it down, Adrian said. It's impossible. The great saku tree has been here for more than 90 years. It is both the heritage of the town and the school, Samantha commented. Let's not waste any more time and go investigate then, Adrian said. About 15 minutes after crossing the green forest path, they arrived exactly at the point where the great saku tree was. And the surprise for them came when they saw that the great saku tree had fallen. It just can't be. What happened to him? Samantha shouted again, who was devastated, and bent down to pick up the last saku flower. Its pink petals were still alive and its pistils full of pollen. At that, old Angus appears. He was the ranger and gardener of the Rhoda school. A man with light skin, white hair and beard, a large straw hat, a red shirt with overalls and a big belly, always accompanied by his axe and rake. Good morning, guys. I'm very sorry that you saw the great saku tree that accompanied us for years in this state, said Angus to the group of boys. What happened to it? Why did they cut it, sir? Gavin asked. No one has cut it. A big storm hit the school yesterday. The wind gusts reached 100 kilometers per hour and according to weather experts, about 200 fell. Damn, Angus commented. Everyone was crestfallen, but old Angus gave them excellent news that cheered them up. Why those long faces? All is not lost, said Angus as the boys raised their heads. Why, sir? What are you talking about? Samantha asked while wiping her tears. The great saku tree can regenerate. It takes exactly 1 year to regenerate completely. For the next year, at this same time, you can come and cut the flowers you want, added Angus. Does it really regenerate? How is that possible? Gavin asked. As long as its trunk is clinging to the ground, with its roots healthy. All the nutrients inside it help the sapling to create new branches. If you see the trunk up close, you will notice that small green leaves are sprouting again. Each branch grows 2 meters per day. And with the light of the moon, it will double its size and the branches will become more mature. That will tell us that next year we will have the tree regenerated again. And if another storm attacks him, because he will regenerate again, argued Angus while caressing the bark of the tree. Excellent news. I already feel much better, said Samantha with joy. Everyone left the green forest and returned to the school. They headed to the classroom of the house, to meet again with his other companions. Once in the room, Roger, Gavin and Adrian notice in a corner of the room, next to a window, a girl with dark skin, straight black hair and a huge book on her desk. Who is she? Asked Gavin. Surely she must be new, said Adrian. We didn't pay attention to the assignment ceremony, whispered Roger. Anyone can enter later years, as long as they meet the requirements. Admission. My mother told me, said Adrian. Roger got up from his table, went to the girl, extended his hand, and introduced himself. Hello. You are new? I'm Roger. It's a pleasure. The girl only looked at him from head to toe with her gaze, but she did not greet him back. Roger turned back and sat down again with her companions Gavin and Adrian. He didn't greet me. It seems like the mice got his tongue, said Roger. Look, he's looking this way, said Adrian as he looked back at his desk. I hate such unfriendly attitudes. It reminds me of you, Adrian, in first year, said Roger. Minutes passed and Professor Lady Arden entered the room. She greeted and gave the usual instructions, and after finishing the sermon, she called Gavin to her desk. What do you need, teacher? Gavin asked. Is it possible that you can show her around the school and introduce the other classmates to the new girl over there by the window? Said Professor Lady. Me? Okay. Well, it's okay. It's just, Gavin said in a nervous tone. Excellent. I knew I could trust you, young Fowler. You are the most sociable and friendly person in this room. I'm sure you will understand each other very well, added the teacher. I think so. Gavin said and went to sit in his seat. Roger and Adrian asked him what the teacher had told him. Hey, what did the teacher tell you? Adrian murmured. Nothing. She just wants me to welcome the new girl. But after seeing how she treated Roger, I don't think she wants to talk to me either. Gavin whispered, replying, lucky you. Ha ha ha. Adrian and Roger laughed. The hours passed in the classroom, and when everyone began to leave the classroom to go to recess, Gavin was getting his backpack ready. One of the orbs fell to the floor, rolled and reached the feet of the new girl, who was wearing black boots. That combined very well with his pants. The young woman raised the orb, looked at Gavin and said, Where did you get this? With a very serious and low voice. That. It's just an ornament in my home. I don't know how it ended up in my backpack. Ha ha ha. Gavin said with a sarcastic voice. The new girl doubted the sarcastic but nervous response that Gavin gave. To which she added, Don't be stupid, I know what this is, it's an orb. And you're looking for the others. Are you looking for the prophecy? Gavin was shocked to hear what the new girl was saying, and in a surprised way he approached her and said, How do you know about the prophecy? Gavin asked. Have a seat, the girl responded. Gavin slowly adjusted her chair and sat next to her in the living room. My name is Priscilla Baldwin, the girl said and extended her hand to give Gavin back the orb he had dropped. My name is Gavin Fowler. Gavin introduced himself. Fowler? So you're like me, said Priscilla. Like you? What are you talking about? Gavin asked curiously. I'm Baldwin. Your family, as well as mine, and others, are from the pioneer and founding families of this town. Priscilla added, oh yes, right, I forgot that. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Priscilla, said Gavin. The pleasure is mine. You can call me Pry, said Priscilla smiling. Okay, Pry. Hey, Professor Lady asked me to please show you around the school and I'll introduce you to the rest of the room, Gavin said gently. The second won't be necessary. I'll figure it out. I'm not very. And I feel like there are some people. Well, that doesn't matter. Tell me about the prophecy while we walk. From school. What do you know about her? What progress have you made? Priscilla asked. Okay, then come on. I'll tell you. Gavin responded, and together with Priscilla they left the room and began walking through the hallways. They decided to go to the cafeteria for an orange juice to talk about prophecy. Once in the cafeteria, Gavin, very curious, asked Pry a question. Hey, what's that book you're always carrying around? It seems it's not an ordinary book. I look it from his cover. With those letters and symbols, in addition to its spine, which has those wooden parts on its edges. Gavin asked. It is a book of spells. It is my weapon. This is my first weapon, Wook. I am a mage. That's my discipline, Priscilla answered. Really? What kind of magical abilities do you know how to use? Gavin asked. Attack elementals, and some status effects to damage enemies. In my family we have always been taught dark magic with this book, but light magic is not so much, added Priscilla. That sounds excellent, said Gavin. In fact, the mages only use dark magic. Never evil magic, and light magic is for priestesses, commented Priscilla. And why are you so serious about people? My friends just wanted to say hello to you, said Gavin. I'm sorry. But today I haven't felt well. Now that I'm talking to you, I've already felt a little better, commented Priscilla. Why? Is something wrong? Gavin asked curiously. I'm 14 years old. I'm 1 year older than you. In my family they were always assigned to the House of the Golden Canaries, but I was assigned to the Jade Clovers. That news I think my family won't go down very well. Well, I broke the family tradition. Has your whole family been to the Jade Clovers? Right? Asked Priscilla. That's right, my entire family tree. Gavin responded. My family tree was lost. It was in an old trunk, said Priscilla. My grandmother has mine. It's in a room of the home. It's an old photo album, Gavin commented. Really? Are all your descendants there? Priscilla asked with her eyes bulging and surprised. Yes, when I was little my grandmother taught me that. Gavin said. I imagine that was great, being able to know where you come from, beyond the beginnings of this town. He said. Priscilla, well, what I remember, there were my grandmother's parents, Talia and Joachim. To them my grandmother Nevis was born, and her 6 siblings Heidi, Crispdif, Ada, Dorothy, Clarissa, Thaddeus. My grandmother married my grandfather Evans. And there the Fowlers were born, giving birth to 6 children, including my mother Melina, Uncle Lenny, Nate, Evans too, Helen and Nevis too. There my mother married my father, who came from another town, adopted my mother's Fowler. You know, the rule in births at the Antosca clinic is that the man acquires the woman's last name, and I was born. On the other branch of the tree are my cousins, Ethan, Evans 3 and Steph, children of my Aunt Nevis 2, Candy, daughter of my Aunt Helen, her husband Rooney, and has a daughter named Noelle, Jackie and Danielle, daughters of my Uncle Nate, my cousin JC and my cousins Darla and Chessie, daughters of my uncle Evans too, who the latter three had 3 children, Eva, Vastianu and Jude. Then I have other cousins, Errol, Ashley, Jason, James, Michael, Jr., Faye, Scott, Stanley. Although the latter moved to another town, Gavin argued as he made a sketch for Priscilla on a sheet of paper. Wow. It's a huge family, said Priscilla. And you really wanted to be in that house? Asked Gavin. I have some friends there. It was a dilemma in my mind. Firstly, it generated a lot of emotion in me. But at the same time, no, Priscilla commented, don't worry, if you were assigned here, it's for some reason. It's strange that the director didn't take into consideration the lineage of your family linked to the Golden Canaries, in addition to your qualities, but before starting to talk about the prophecy, take this opportunity to be in a house different from that of your family so that you can put your name up high, and most importantly, here you will have good friends. Gavin added, looking at his face with joy. Motivating words. Thank you very much. Now that you mention putting my name up. My dream is to be able to help people who need it, to be able to help everyone who is poisoned, petrified, injured, paralyzed, with potions and antidotes. Now, I can't practice light magic at the Antosca clinic. Above all, the children, said Priscilla, you're going to do it, you have a good heart. When the teacher assigned me to give you an introduction, I was afraid that you would ignore me. Said Gavin, thank you for the orb that you dropped, it was the key to every conversation. Ha. Ha ha, said Priscilla while laughing, ha ha ha. Now then, how do you know about the prophecy? Gavin asked, smiling. My grandmother told me the story, she was a great friend of Nevis. Your grandmother, but I had no idea that she had a grandson and that I was going to meet one of the Fowlers here, much less that we would be companions in the same house, said Priscilla. I understand, and why didn't you join us in the first year? Said Gavin, I was traveling, my grandmother passed away, in her will. She asked us all the family that her ashes should be spread in the place that she indicated. We went there all this time, that's why I went in this year, commented Priscilla. I had no idea. I'm very sorry, said Gavin while looking crestfallen. Don't tell Nevis, that would make her very sad, and for an old man, receiving negative news is not recommended, said Priscilla. It will be our secret, I know the prophecy from her, said Gavin. And you plan to go out on your own and find out everything and fight the witch without help? Priscilla asked while raising her eyebrows. No, in this house we have a group. Would you like to join us? Gavin commented. I'll be a new ally, said Priscilla firmly and joined the group.